are a total blur with the reading glasses on. I could see you more clearly with these glasses, but then where would I put my shades? On the top of my head. There you have it. Ain't midlife grand. Good morning. Welcome to Denver. We're so glad you've joined us, and we have a powerful and highly customized conference experience planned for you. And let me begin, first of all, by just introducing myself. I'm Sally King, CEO of NFCB. Totally honored to be here this morning. And, oh, there we go. It's trained in theater there. I don't need that microphone. I wanted to go through just a few features of the conference so that everybody's oriented to what's new and different and what remains the same so you can get the most out of this experience. First of all, we heard you. We have scheduled full 30-minute breaks in the morning and the afternoon. We heard you. There's more caffeinated and less decaffeinated. And there's more coffee in general. We started Radio Explorer cards. Those are those fun little cards with the planets on them. Your exhibitors have stamps, and if you visit them all, they stamp you, your card, and we're going to do a drawing at the end for 2 people, lucky winners, to win $250. So be sure to make a visit around and see the exhibitors who really help make this happen. Unlike last year, we have the 3rd floor the entire time. We won't be going downstairs for our awards banquet. It's just 3rd floor NFCB Landia. So we think that'll make it easier. Keynotes each morning to wake us up. Plenaries each afternoon to engage us in big picture conversations. Breakout sessions that connect the dots between the keynotes and the plenaries. And there really was a tremendous amount of thought on how we could connect some of these larger themes with the details and specific information that will make them more useful to you. So if you check out your schedule, you'll see that whoever's up here in a plenary, you can also find in a session. So if you want to spend more time with people, that's the way to do it. Also, Current, our newspaper of record in the public media industry, has, I think you've noticed the hashtag #IamPublicMedia sign, and right next to it by the registration desk is our big step and repeat banner with the NFCB logo. It's really simple. If you want to just give a testimonial as to why you're in public media, hold that sign, take a picture of it. If you don't want to do that part, we just ask you to get in front of that banner with your friends or a selfie or whatever and text them to Superhero Man there. It's 970-510-NFCB, and what we want to do is put a slideshow together at the awards banquet of all these images from all of you. Tattered Cover Books, one of Denver's oldest and most famous independent bookseller, has set up in the lobby today. That's a new feature at the conference. We've tried to suggest a number of titles that you would find interesting, being community media lovers. Breakfast discussions. If you have any questions, talk to Ernesto, but we had some really great discussions this morning on the 4th floor, and we'll do that again tomorrow. There's an open house at Denver Open Media this evening. A really amazing facility to see. It's a very rich indie media environment in Denver. And right on. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Yes, a plug for our awards banquet. It'll be ceremonious. It's the end of our conference this year. Please don't miss it. There will be speeches, entertainment, awards, general merrymaking. You can stay up late with your friends. We'll feed you. We're asking you to please come and join us for that. Okay. So after 4 decades of great conferences, we've learned some things that will consistently and reliably be the same for you. One is, let's see, that we've put everything on mobile app. How many of you are using Guidebook? Yay, Ernesto, thank you for that. It's a good one. That puts the details in your hands. We're asking you to evaluate the sessions there on the mobile app while they're fresh in your mind. We read every single evaluation, even the ones that break our hearts. So Tell us what you think, because that's how we build this conference and that's how we make it better. And that's our commitment to you. Your paper schedule card came with your name tag. That's there for those of you who prefer a break from digital land. And paper evaluation forms are also available at the registration desk. So if you want to do it that way, you can. The literature table, if any of you missed it, is in that atrium place they call the Colorado Reception Room, with the lovely full glass view to the Rocky Mountains. It's a salon type environment. There's a power charging station in there. So feel free to come and go out of that space and leave stuff there for others to pick up. Our membership meeting happens this afternoon at 5:30. And all of you are invited. This is not something where you have to be a general manager. Remember, we rewrote all the bylaws. We didn't rewrite them. We threw the old ones out and completely retooled the organization. And we want it to be inclusive. We want you to join us. That's also where you're going to get a lot of good information about community radio, because that's what we're paying attention to. That's what we're reporting back to you about. So I hope you will join us for that. The handouts will be at your sessions, but also rest assured the PowerPoints and the handouts will be loaded in our member area on the NFCB website. So you will be able to share this information with whomever from your station was not able to be here with you. The keynotes and the plenaries are live streamed. So just know that that's going out. Ernesto's doing that. Share your conference experience on social. The hashtag is NFCB17. We'd love to connect with you there. One final ask from me. Please extend yourself to someone new to you. Please find a moment to express appreciation to someone known to you. And the third is, please share your takeaways from the breakout sessions during lunch. We also heard you with that. We're not doing a full session during your lunch, just eating and talking to your friends, but you really get a lot more harvested from these sessions if you can talk to people about which did you attend, because I know a lot of you wear a lot of hats. You can't be in all these tracks at once, but you never know. At your lunch table, you might have people who attended a session that you weren't able to do. But it really does make this conference a more powerful experience. And of course, we could not do this without sponsors. Our title sponsor, who has been very generous to NFCB for this conference, is the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, American Public Media. Yes. I'll read through the other sponsors. You'll see them circulating in every ballroom session, and you can read them at the registration desk, and they're on the mobile app, and they're on the website. BRS Media, Click and Pledge, Comrex, Fletcher, Heald and Hildreth, Garvey, Schubert, Bearer, Greater Public, NPR, PRSS Content Depot, KUVO, and Rocky Mountain Public Broadcasting. And please take a moment to visit our exhibitors, Allegiance Software, BirdNote, Center for Car Donations, Chavo Bart Digital Media, Comrex, Goalbusters, PRSS Content Depot, Public News Service, Radio Free America, Spinatron, Undercurrents, Pacifica, Soundbeat, KMUW. Lots of exhibitors came on board. How about a round of applause for them? All right. So I'm cutting and pasting because our keynote is this totally dynamic woman, and she's like, here, read this. So I said, okay, we will do that. But not before I get to say a few words framing how this conference moves forward. The theme for our conference this year is a place called community. Collectively, obviously, we take the name community radio. But what do we mean by it? What makes community? How do we know it? What does it feel like? And what basic human longing does it fulfill? Why should we care about grounding a conference in this theme, you might ask? It seems obvious. And I would say to you, we do that because when we answer these questions for ourselves at the individual level, when we know these truths inside of us, and connect them with our work, we dial up the potency of what we're doing. And we dial down the amount of time that we waste and squander with confusion, with mission drift, with burnout. So our morning keynote is actually an antidote to confusion and a double shot of potency and inspiration. And I just wanted to say a couple things about Denise. This is where I tore the paper. Denise, where are you? What's that?
Old-fashioned cut and paste.
You got it. I met Denise at a coffee shop called Molecular Effect. Meeting a future keynote speaker doesn't always get to happen, but we both live in Denver. I watched the trailer for her film, and I just want to meet her. As it turned out, our meeting at Molecular Effect created Molecular Effect. We ordered our caffeinated beverages. We peeled back the curtains and gave each other a peek into our worlds. We amplified our stories and created resonance. We found resonance. We found molecular effect. I figured out some things about Denise that have made making this introduction an even greater pleasure for me. Among the things that I noticed right off the bat, Denise has a compelling and uplifting message. She's not here to lead an unobserved life. She's paying attention with passionate dedication. She understands story and the places you can go with that. And she understands the transformational power of that process. And now I'm going to read her bio. A Latina filmmaker, a cultural storyteller. She's dedicated to helping individuals, organizations, and companies transform how we talk, share, and view culture and identity. She's built a reputation for being a speaker who has the rare ability to shine a light on a sensitive and often ignored topic with extraordinary clarity, honesty, and humor. Her approach not only inspires and provokes new ways of thinking, but most importantly, leaves audiences inspired to take action and incorporate positive change in their lives. She's a distinguished member of the 4th cohort of the Stanford Latino Leaders Entrepreneur Program and was recently chosen as a National Association of Latino Independent Producers 2017 Fellow. She's been featured speaker in places like Yale and Wellesley University, Smithsonian Latino Center, Google, Procter & Gamble's Orgullosa, TEDx, Starbucks, and Viner Media. Her work with Project Enye has been featured on Forbes.com, CNN, NBC Latino, Telemundo, Univision, Fox News Latino. Please help me welcome Denise Soler Cox.
Everything I'm going to say, remember all of those awesome things that she said at the beginning, because I almost couldn't believe it. Okay, so I know that there might be some sound issues in the back. Can you guys hear me really well? Yeah? Okay, awesome. You're so used to like not talking, you're just going like this. That's great. I know who I'm talking to. This is really cool. I am going to need a little bit of an education though when it comes to a joke I'm going to tell, and then you'll know when we get there. So, I consider myself an extraordinarily lucky person. At 26 years old, I knew exactly what I needed to be doing with my life. I was crystal clear on my mission. It's pretty cool, right? The only problem was, I didn't realize the burden that that kind of knowing would take on a person, especially a 26-year-old person. I didn't realize that that knowing actually came with an extraordinary price. What if you were crystal clear on exactly what you needed to do with your life, but you had absolutely zilcho experience, no training, and you didn't even know anyone who did what you thought you should be doing with the rest of your life? Would you still do it? What if you were 100% clear on what you needed to do, but when you thought about it late at night, you realized, oh, this totally taps into everything I feel like I'm not good enough in. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. How am I going to do this? But I know I should be doing this. And lastly, what if you knew what you were supposed to do, but you also knew that you might be jeopardizing a relationship with an immediate family member? Would you still take the risk? That actually happened to me. I unfortunately received a letter from my mother. I'm trying to get this closer, because, okay, here we go. I unfortunately received a letter from my mother a few years ago telling me that she needed to take a break from me because of making this film. She didn't know what I was making a film about. She thought I was making a film about something completely different. In any case, she stopped talking to me for 1 year. I didn't know that that was going to happen, and FYI, she's talking to me now, and if anyone wants to know more about the story, ask me in the Q&A, okay? Write that down. It actually ends really well. But I didn't know that, but I had a kind of knowing about it. You know what I mean? Like, this might hurt some people if I do this. So, obviously, the film was made, but it took me 17 years to get to the point where I was actually able to do anything about it. So, why did that happen? What happened during those 17 years? Some people tell me, I mean, like you guys heard my resume, that bio, I'm like, here, read this, because I'm really proud of this. 5 years ago, this didn't exist. I almost can't believe it hearing it myself. So what in the world happened? Why did I wait 17 years to have this awesome life? Well, I had like a million considerations, a million reasons why I shouldn't be doing this. I call myself a one-day somedayer. Do you guys know those people? One day, someday I would say, I'm gonna make a film about 16 million Latinos in the United States. I'm gonna heal a generation of people just as soon as Jupiter and Saturn are in my 4th house of career. That's the day I'm gonna start doing it. One day, someday, I'm gonna make a film and it's gonna turn into a movement, and I'm not even gonna try to make that happen. It's gonna be unbelievable. It's gonna connect all these people and they're gonna feel like they matter in ways that they didn't even know that they mattered. Just as soon as I have 6 to 8 months of savings in my bank account, because I don't wanna run out of money. One day, let me tell you, someday, you're gonna see my face everywhere because I will have made a difference with millions of people, okay? But just as soon as I get to be a size 6 again, like the way I looked before I had my kids, because I just feel better when I'm smaller. You know, just as soon as that happens, that's when this is all going down. I was a one day, someday person. You guys know anybody like that? Anybody know what one day, someday stands for? Or what that signified, or what it's code for? Let's be honest, I keep it really real, okay? It's code for I'm not good enough. I don't think I'm the right person for the job. I'm too old. I'm not skinny enough. I don't speak Spanish good enough. I don't know my history well enough. I have no idea what I'm doing enough. I don't know, I don't know enough. Okay. So, 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, it was 2012, January 1st, I'm sitting at my dining room table writing my goals because I'm a nerd like that. Not in every way, type A in some ways, and totally like type Z in other ways, okay? But on January 1st, I'm cooking. If you're in my house in the morning, you're gonna smell amazing food because I'll invite everyone I know for an amazing New Year's Day breakfast. My kids are playing, my husband's invariably watching YouTube videos about jujitsu, I guess. He's obsessed with jujitsu lately. and I'm writing my goals for the year. Okay, so I'm writing my goals for the year. This happens every year. And I'm writing my goals, and I'm getting down to the bottom. And just so you guys know, my goal sheet looks like this. Do this, and then I have an accompanying sheet that has a to-do list with it, okay? Massive nerd alert. Anybody else here with me? Are we like all, like let's let our freak flags fly? I'm like that, you're like that. We're like that. I like to get things done. So I had the very last thing that I was gonna write, and I was gonna write it for the 17th time, okay? And before I was gonna write it for the 17th time, I thought, I'm gonna write this for the 17th time. This is crazy. I'm so full of it. I'm such a one-day somedayer. How come I've never done this? And I grappled with that question, and why should I write this? Is this really gonna happen? Do you guys ever make a commitment to yourself that you don't follow through on, like multiple times? After a while, if you're human, you do that, okay? You don't have to say yes, because I know you do. So why did I decide to write it down that day? Well, I made a pact with myself, and this might help some of you guys today. I had to put leverage on myself, and for me, if I write something down, it must happen. And I noticed my creative partner's here, Henry, in the corner, and he knows if I write something down, it must happen to like a fault. So like that means I'm really annoying about getting stuff done, right? So I decided I would write this down, but on one condition. I would only write it down if I really, really, really tried extremely hard to make it happen that year. And if I didn't get enough momentum, that I wasn't going to do it, I wasn't going to talk about it, I wasn't going to one day, someday about it, I just was going to let it go, which for me and my life stream and my crystal clear vision that I had at that point for 17 years was just too much to bear. So I knew that that was what I needed to do, right? So is my audio okay? It feels like it's... Oh, okay. I feel like I need to make it closer. Goodness gracious, Mike. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Is this better?
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be like that. That's probably like a broadcasting thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, filmmaker. Okay, I don't do what you guys do. All right, so I made a huge decision that day that this will be, no matter what, this will be. I got my piece of paper out, and I was gonna write my to-do list. And I had one thing on that to-do list. It was to call his next door neighbor to ask for his phone number because she told me one day on a play date that her next door neighbor made documentary films. I had nothing else to write on the piece of paper. I didn't know at all what I was doing, but I was willing to do whatever it took. I think it's interesting when people make commitments. I think there's a piece missing when people say, okay, let's do this great thing. I'll give an example that's very popular. I want to lose some weight, right? So what does that look like? It usually looks like, okay, I want to lose some weight. Now, what am I willing to do? What am I committed to? I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out this many times, right? But I think that there's something missing in that equation. I think that looking at what you're unwilling to do is what's missing. And for me, I was unwilling to do a few things. In other words, I had a willingness problem. I was unwilling to be new at something. Funny story, Henry and I were walking down the street a few years ago while we were making the film, and we got an email from one of our editors. And I think we had had lunch, and if you're not from here and you like sushi, Sushi High is a great place to have lunch, sidebar. So I think we've been there, and we're walking back to the car, and I got an email that he was CC'd on too from a guy named Miguel who was helping us edit the film, and he said, hey guys, I've got this done, that done, and this done, and I'm gonna need some brole. And I was like, what's brole, Henry? And he totally started laughing, and it sounds like one or two people here know what brole is too. It's observational footage, but it's not pronounced brole, it's pronounced B-roll. And guess what? I was a little embarrassed, but not too much, because I was willing to be embarrassed. I was willing to be uncomfortable. I was like, okay, this is one of those moments. Brole. And we have a lot of brole moments, don't we, Henry? And the thing that I feared the most, being embarrassed, because that's like a big thing for me, or it used to be, it just wasn't. It was just like, okay, this is like a brole moment. And so there you go. I wasn't willing to have them, but now I am. I also wasn't willing to look bad in front of other people. I just wanted to look good. I was accomplished. I was successful. I had things. I didn't want to start over. But really, you guys, I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to start something like this and fail. I've been, a big fan of Super Soul Sunday and these podcasts that feature like all these amazing artists and authors and filmmakers and movement leaders and people that do incredible things. And they always have to be willing to do whatever it took, right? And it's not like I did this to be on all of those things, but I wasn't willing to do everything it took. And so I had to change that morning. I had to change my willingness. I had to become willing to do and feel everything, which I'll tell you at times is extraordinarily challenging. But 5.5 years ago, I changed my mind and I decided to be willing. And this is what happened. And now I need to find this. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. Can someone get the lights? Enye?
Enye. Enye.
Yes. I am an Enye. No, it's not a cult or part of some new age movement. It's a group of people here in the United States that is 16 million strong and growing. For years, I've been interviewing different Enyes and documenting their stories.
I'm the only Dominican album in show business. Thank you. Keep the applause down. Thank you.
There's a lot of people who will fault me for not knowing Spanish completely, but I can guarantee you that I can dance better salsa than you.
I've laughed and cried with them, and I found there is a distinct shared experience among us.
I didn't speak English until I went to kindergarten, so I was considered a foreigner.
My parents came from Mexico. I did not know what racism was, so I went there.
My phone rang, and I would pick it up, and they were like, "Stick," and I just would hang it up.
One day we were driving home, and there were 3 guys of color.
I stuck out like a sore thumb. There was like a mystique about me, and people were kind of even afraid.
I was hearing all these people's stories, and I was like, oh my God, I'm totally not alone. All these people had my same life. They all had to deal with a lot of the same stuff I did. I was determined to do a documentary because I'm like, how do I get this out to people? How do I share this? Because I just wanted to shout from the rooftops, like, you're not alone.
This is so great because I'm totally connected with this 100%. I've never really had conversations like this either.
She's incredible.
Like looking in a mirror, so are you.
It's a constant journey to learn to navigate where we are, you know? But it's a beautiful journey, I believe.
I believe this connection and sense of belonging can truly heal a generation. This is our story. Henry Ansbacher. Yeah, a big fan. It gets embarrassed when I point out, so I love to do that. So, okay. When I was creating the speech for you guys today, I really wanted to be like prescriptive and explain like in 3 easy steps how you go from an unwilling person with an amazing idea, hold on to it for 17 years, and then executes on it, because I want you guys to have what I have. I know that in every single person sits a dream, a thing that they want to do, and I also know that most people feel like they don't have what it takes to do that thing. If you know what I'm saying, say aye. Aye. Okay, so we're all on the same page here. So I can't think of 3 easy steps. There's like 5 million steps, and those were my steps. And so if followed again, I'm not even sure it would work out for me. What I want to leave you with is something that I've learned. If I could leave you with one thing, it would honestly be this idea. And it's a question. What if having a dream or a calling or a wanting to do something great and of consequence with your life was your soul's yearning to transform and grow? I'll say that again. My husband's like, wait, say that again? Say that again? What if having a dream or a calling or a wanting to do something great with your life, something of consequence, was your soul's yearning to transform and grow? So why am I asking you that? I just wanted to make a movie. What are we talking about? Transformation and growing, right? Except for, here's the thing. I am not the same woman that I was 5.5 years ago. I'm not the same woman that I was when I was 26. And if you can do the math, I'm 46 right now. And hopefully nobody thought that. Okay? I still care about that stuff. I look at that trailer and I think, man, that woman, I feel like I deconstructed her and put her back together again. There's no way you go from, I don't know how to do this, and getting something like that done and not get to be a completely different version of yourself. In my case, thank goodness, a better version of myself. And so that's what I mean about a soul's yearning. I really do believe that that which is in your heart to do, in your profession, in your personal life, whatever it is that you want to achieve, is really the future calling. And I know that that sounds weird, and I know that that sounds woo, but I feel like I was set up properly, sort of, so that you guys would know that you were hearing something like this today. What I wanted to do was make a film to validate a generation of 16 million people. I wanted to create a community. I love the theme of this conference. And I wanted to let them know that their stories not only mattered to me and to him, but to all of us. I was just in an Uber on my way over here. Thankfully, I live just a few blocks away. And the Uber driver and I had the most extraordinary conversation. He was asking me about the film and what I'm here to do and what's going on and who I'm talking to. He asked about you guys. And he's from Ethiopia, and he has children that were born here, and so they're like Ethiopian Enyes. And he was like, I really understand your film. I really want my kids to see your film. I want to see your film. This is so important. What I learned is that this film is not only a gift to the 16 million people that we originally made it for, it really is a gift to any child of any immigrant. It's also a gift to anybody who cares about creating community and storytellers. And it's also a gift to people that we call friendians. Anyone know what that is? It's this. You're a friend of the Enye. And if there are friends in this room, you have your own logo. We love you. We appreciate you. And if you ask me a question afterwards, I'll give you a friendly sticker. So as you can tell, I signed up for something a lot bigger than making a film. Just thinking of making a film, that's like a lot to sign up for, right? But I signed up also for my own personal transformation. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because if you want to do something great, if you want to accomplish something major, something completely outside the realm of what you even can safely one day, someday to too many people, then my guess is that you'll have to go through that as well. And boy, what a gift it'll be. I'm living proof of it. It's so, so worth it. And it's very emotional. And I go through it all the time. If you follow me on social media, you'll see the ups, downs, and all arounds of it. There's some people here that follow me. And I want to tell you a funny story about that. Like, the transformation never ends. A few months ago, it was April 1st, and I travel all the time. We released this film last summer, and I've been to 50 different rooms just like this. The Uber driver's like, what was the biggest room you were in? And I said, well, the biggest room I was in was a gymnasium and a college, and it had 1,300 middle school kids. And I was scared, I'm not gonna lie. Like, how am I gonna like captivate these kids? Like, they're out of control, right? Like, I can't control these kids. They're like born to be like, you know, to be annoying and to be disruptive. I have two of them, so I can tell. And you know what? You could hear a pin drop in that room when I was talking, and the superintendent came up to me afterwards and she said, I don't know what you have, but you gave it to all of us today, and I thank you. So that was, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the Uber driver says, what was the smallest group that you've ever spoken to? And I said, you know what, believe it or not, it was at Facebook headquarters. Do you know how many people were in the room? 6. Guess who has a diversity problem? My mentor calls it a huge opportunity, and that's the way that I saw it too. So April 1st, I am exhausted. I think it's like a Tuesday. I'd come back from some screenings, and I just needed to take a nap. So I think I had gone to work. I came home, and I'm like, okay, I need to just peace out for like an hour, get my bearings. And so I go to my room. I live just a few blocks away. Take about an hour nap and grab my phone, right? And I'm like scrolling through my emails. And I see an email, and the subject line says, Stanford Latino Leadership Program, Entrepreneurial Leadership Program, and my heart starts beating. I'm like, oh God, please. I applied for so many things. I didn't know what was gonna happen, but to be honest, I thought it was a no, because we apply to a lot of things. That's another thing. Be willing to apply to a lot of things. Be willing to ask a lot more than you think is reasonable. I'm like well beyond the reasonable line, and still going, still applying, still asking. And I opened that email, and in red it said, congratulations. And I thought, thank you. I need my glasses, just like Sally. I need my glasses. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. So I read it again. Congratulations, you've been accepted to the Stanford Latino Entrepreneur Leadership Program. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got in. I got in. And I texted my husband, and if you guys follow me on social media, he has his own hashtag. It's the Gringo Cowboy. He's from Oklahoma. I'm a Puerto Rican from New York. We're a perfect match. And anyway, you can just look that up and see all my posts about him. There are a lot. I texted the Gringo Cowboy first, and I said, hey, babe, guess what? I got in. And he was like, wow, you spelled Stanford wrong. I didn't know what you were talking about. And then I texted Henry, and then I texted our assistant, Michael, and I said, hey, guys, I think that we just got in. And I was like, I think, because I kept having to look at the text or the email. And then I called Luba, she's in the film. She's become a dear friend, and she travels with me a lot. And everyone's like, awesome, this is great. And normally, I would have put that thing on social media. Like, I'm all about Instagram stories, and I'm like, my whole life is on my Instagram story. And so that thing would have been right there, front and center. Guess what happened? Any ideas? What did I post? Nothing. You know how long I waited to post that? Until about 3 days before I left, 4 weeks after. I was petrified that that email was a mistake. Our assistant Michael was like making plans. He's like, when do you want to get in? When do you want to leave? Here's the hotel I found. And I was like deep down inside thinking, oh my God, when we find out this is a mistake, I hope we can like get a voucher or get me on Southwest, Michael, so we can like make sure I can use that ticket for something else, because I think that's a mistake, but I didn't say anything. And when I was telling this to my husband last night, he said, you thought that was a mistake? I said, hell yeah, I thought that was a mistake, babe. I'm so used to the ups and downs and all arounds. I'm not used to getting into places like Stanford, right? Imposter syndrome. You guys heard of that? Anyone experience that? Say aye. It's prevalent, especially when you go for big stuff. When you go for big stuff, it's like what shows up is everything and every piece and part of you that you don't believe deserves to create that great stuff or to be that great person. Man, it even affects me. It affected me April 1st. It affected me last week. So why am I sharing this? Because I want to inspire you guys today, but I want to inspire you guys to action. I'm going to ask you a question. What kind of wife do you think I would have been? What kind of mother do you think I would have been? I have 2 kids, and I don't think they're annoying all the time. They're lovely, and actually I was hoping that they could be here today. They're mostly not annoying. They're mostly amazing and wonderful. What kind of mom do you think I'd be to my 2 daughters? What kind of coworker do you think that I would be? What kind of neighbor, friend? Do you think that I would be if 5.5 years ago I said, I don't think I'm going to do that, because I was unwilling to do what I needed to do and become the woman that I needed to become to make what I just showed you that we made. Would you want to be married to me? I told that to my husband. He started laughing. He's like, make sure to tell them that you're a lot more demanding than you used to be. That's actually really different. You weren't that demanding. Okay, baby. So I want to close by telling you guys a short story. Last September, I was in a room just like this, and I had screened the film and was taking questions, and it was actually the first time we'd ever done that. So I really didn't know what was going to happen. Again, a first, right? So I'm sitting there like, I wonder if they liked it. I hope this is going to go well. And anyway, the first question came from right about there. And the person stands up like you right there with that gray shirt. And go, oh, no, right behind you, glasses. Oh, but that's so cute. Right there, though, okay? That area. Person stands up, and she said, I don't have a question, but I do want to share something. Is that okay? And I said, absolutely. This is my favorite thing to talk about. If everybody's cool, yes, tell me, right? The I made. And she starts sharing about a story about this jersey that she owned. And it was the Mexican flag, but like in a jersey. And she said it was the most beautiful jersey shirt. I don't know why she called it a jersey, but she did. That she had ever owned. And it was the Mexican flag, and across the chest in yellow embroidery said Mexico. Like the way she described this shirt, you guys, I wanted to see the shirt. I wanted to own the shirt. She said every time she left the house, she'd walk in downtown Denver, and people would stop her and they would say, excuse me, where did you get that beautiful shirt? That's an amazing shirt. And she would say with pride, oh, and she would tell them. And she just said, every time I wore that shirt, I really just felt so like in my culture, like so Mexican. I just felt super proud of my identity, right? And people would stop her all the time. And I'm like, okay, this story's going well. Where is this gonna go? And then she gets choked up and she says, one time, a gentleman stopped me on the street and he said, excuse me, that's a great shirt. Well, thank you. Where did you get it? Oops. And she tells him. And he says, are you Mexican? And she goes, well, yes, I am. Yeah, but were you born in Mexico? And she goes, no, actually, I was born here, but both of my parents were born in Mexico. He looks her up and down and says, do you even speak Spanish? And she goes, nah, not really. You know, there's a whole, if you are Latino and you're in this room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Say I to that question. Okay, there's a few of us here, not too many. There's a lot going on with the Spanish language and American-born Latinos. Just being a Latino in the United States language, big, big, big issue, right? So she starts explaining this to this guy. And he goes, you know what? You're wearing a jersey from Mexico that says Mexico. You're not from Mexico, and you don't even speak Spanish. I don't even think you're Mexican. I think you should take off that jersey. Now, I know all the men here are probably like, okay, big deal, whatever, you know, because like football players, people wearing jerseys, I'm not a football fan, but I know when you guys talk to each other about jerseys and players, you kind of like try to like, you know, you'll say things like that to each other. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Right? People say, take that jersey off, oh, fair weather fan, all that stuff, right? So not a big deal, except for her, it was a huge deal. She started crying at this point in her share. And I was mortified because I was like, wow, this woman is like literally this man in one conversation had the ability to take away her identity. He really messed with her, right? And I'm looking at her and I'm judging her. I'm like, wow, look at that woman. She's so different than me. She let one guy totally mess up her whole sense of identity and like what her purpose is in the world. And I'm sitting here thinking, I think I know somebody like that. And that was me, because I used to let the world mess with my head, right? I let the world mess with the plans for this film and stop me in my tracks. Well, she sits down, and about 5 or 6 other questions happen. I make a mental note. I'm going to talk to this woman. I must find out where that damn jersey is and if she's ever put it back on again. So lunch happens, and we're going down the lunch line. And I'm getting my food, and it's one of these where people are walking here and people are walking here. So I'm getting my lunch. We're going like this. I look across and I see her. She's the one who's getting a salad right across from me. And so I said, oh my gosh, I have to ask you a question. Where's the jersey? And she goes, oh, it's in a drawer in my house. I haven't taken it out in a really long time. And I said, how long has it been since you put that jersey on? And she said, 20 years. And I thought, no. Like, you have to put this on, please, for me, for all of us, put the jersey on. And what I realized was that jersey was a metaphor. Who here knows what their jersey is? Raise your hand. We have 1. I know there's at least 2, 3, 4. I know there's probably at least triple that amount. So you know, you're really lucky. You know what your calling is. You're just like me. You just have to work through your willingness problem. You have to be willing, and I know that there's probably more than just the 3 or 4 of you, but I'm going to invite everybody here to be willing to go into your drawer, your metaphorical drawer, take that jersey out, put it in the wash, fluff that puppy up, and put it back on again, okay? Because the world needs that, and the world needs the you that you're gonna be once you put it back on. And one last thing, not only be willing to put it on and give us the gift, give us your gift, but also have the courage to be honest about your journey. Thank you very much.
She loves Q&A.
So, okay, cool. I'm just going to show you guys friendly stickers and Enye stickers. I have these for you guys as a reward for asking a question. So yes, and I just want to say there's always 1 or 2 smiling faces. Thank you for being my beautiful smiling faces. I'm sure you were smiling back there too, but I can't see you because my eyes are terrible. So would you please stand and give your name, please?
Yes, my name is Risa Keller, and I'm wondering where can we see your film?
Thank you for that awesome question. That's like a total plan. So I'm actually, and she wasn't. The question was where can we see the film? Does anyone else here would like to see the film? Yes? Okay. So Henry and I thought that we would give the film film away to you guys. We never do this, and we decided we would do that today. So, I'm going to ask you guys to do something technical. We'll do it right at the end. It involves your cell phone, so we'll do that at the very end. But please remind me if I haven't done it, and that's how we're going to get you the film, okay? Thank you so much. Yes.
My name is Karen Wright. I'm from Mankato, Minnesota. And I want to know what your next big film project is going to be. Do you have something in the works, another dream?
Yeah, okay, so thank you for the question. The question was, what's the next project? Do I have another dream? So Henry's like sweating it because he's like, man, this was a lot of work just to do this one dream, right? So my dream really is to really touch 16 million lives, right? There's 16 million people out there that were born here and whose parents were born in a Spanish-speaking country, and they don't know really where they belong. And I feel like it's my job to let them know that they're Enyes and they have a place to belong. And they have a place to see a film about their life, to see short-form documentary style, short videos online. They have a chance to listen to our podcasts, and they have a chance to know that their stories matter to me and to Henry and to everybody in that community. So really, I see this just building and just getting bigger. And then also, sidebar, we've been in production for a longer version of the film. We've made a documentary short, so it's 36 minutes, and we've been in production with a longer version of the film for over a year now. And we're very lucky to have attended the Democratic National Convention, and we're very lucky to have gotten some extraordinary footage at the convention and then after the convention. And so we have an interesting kind of political through line that was not intended to begin with, which kind of makes it exciting. Thank you for your question. Do you want a sticker? If you guys, can someone come out? Sarah, will you come with stickers? Is there any that are at the bottom? Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Thank you for talking today.
Oh, where are we? Oh, here we go. Okay. It is on.
Hi, Denise.
Hi.
Thanks for talking with us today. My question, I'm Betty McCardle from Portland, Oregon. And my question is, what's on your jersey?
This movie.
Very good. Yeah, I want to stick.
I love your purple hair.
Thank you. Which one's the friend?
I'm
As you see, we put a radio station on in VX.
I love it. Oh my goodness. My cousin's there right now celebrating his anniversary. Cool. It's a beautiful place.
It is.
Oh yeah.
I'm Christy,
Hey, Christy.
and I am curious about your relationship with your mom and how that mended through. And maybe that's a little bit further, but I want my sticker.
Yes. Okay. Sarah will give you a sticker. Thanks for asking about that. So so here's what's funny. So my mom writes me this letter, right? Completely breaks my heart. And basically, I want to take a break from you. She thought, when you guys see the film, you'll know the film isn't about being angry or upset. The film is really, it's kind of a roller coaster ride. It's very emotional, but in the end, it's incredibly empowering and uplifting. And she thought I was making a movie about how mad I was about certain things that had happened in my childhood, which couldn't have been farther from the truth. And so we ended up talking a few days before we shot this scene in the film. It's one of the first scenes in the film when I go back to the Bronx with my mom and my brother, and we walk around the development that we used to live in, these buildings together, right? And it was all I could do to get her to come. I basically called her and said, Mom, I know you're not talking to me, but we're shooting tomorrow in Rosedale Gardens, and it would be weird if I was walking around and I didn't know what building to go to because I left when I was 4, right? And she said, okay, I'll go. And so she got she was kind of a pain. And then the following year we had the film, and we talked and we worked on this relationship that I hope, to be honest, it wasn't that great to begin with, right? And I'll never forget the night that we screened the film. We did a private screening just for my mom, my stepdad in New York, and my brother's very small house. Some of my neighbors, some people in the film, and I don't know, maybe 15 people. It was so hot and smushed, and we were watching it, my brother's ginormous television. And Henry happened to have brought a camera and another cameraman, and we shot my mom responding to the film. And I was like this the whole time. And I was sweating, and I was uncomfortable, and I was like, this was a mistake. I never should have done this. She's going to hate it. And at the end, she was totally quiet. And she was a little bit difficult to warm up because she was upset for so long and thinking this was something different than what it was for so long. She was like still responding to that. And then she had the new, and she didn't have the words to express the experience of the new, okay? Happened to me, probably happened to all of us. So it took her a little bit, but once she got it, she got it. And we ended up having the most extraordinary conversation for the next probably about hour and a half after that, and the entire thing is on camera. And so we have that for the longer film, and my mom's reaction, and it's a beautiful thing. And I just got back from New York. I was just there a week ago celebrating my daughter's birthday, and I will tell you, making this film and really sharing my truth, right? Like my truth. Because the film is about my life, her life, my brother's life, has completely set me free. And places and parts where I might have been angry or upset with her in the past, I just don't feel angry or upset anymore because I walk in a room and I am known. And there's something incredibly unique about that. I never knew that that would be another gift of making this film, but it absolutely is. And so I would say that I have a great relationship with her, and every time I see her, it gets better. So thank you very much for asking. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Jim. My name's Jim. I'd like to know what happened to the lady with the shirt, and if you filmed her story, and maybe film an aftermath if she went back and put it on.
Great question, and I don't know what happened. I actually talked to one of the conference organizers, and I said, do you remember this woman? And she said, yes, I remember the woman. Everybody remembered her that I could talk, to, but no one knows her name. And but I will tell you a funny story. I tell the story all the time, all over the country, and there was somebody on Instagram that said, hey Denise, it's a jersey company, they make jerseys, like they're called Alpha Jersey out of like, I don't know, Ohio or something, and they ad tagged me and said, we'll make your jerseys for you, we'll help you put them on. So a lot of people know about the jersey, so maybe it'll come back to her, and maybe one day I'll have a chance to let her know that I use her story to inspire people into action and hopefully get a picture with her wearing it with me one day. No one's ever asked me that. Thank you for that question. Yes.
Thank you so much for your presentation. You're in a room full of community radio stations with audiences probably full of Enyes. Have you thought about maybe engaging with them, maybe screenings, or for community engagement, you could do screenings, and they could have their audiences come in for the screenings and discussions. Any plans for that type of work?
Sounds like that was a great question. So I will be honest, I have an ulterior motive. I love working in my backyard, and when I was invited to this conference, I know the type of people that are sitting in this room. I know your hearts, I know where they're at, and when I sat with Sally, it was 100% confirmed. We're giving you all the film so you can watch it, and then let's get talking. Let's figure out how we can bring this to your communities if you think that it'll be of value. Thank you.
Mike Moletsky from Palmer, Alaska. I'm curious about your daughters. What do they think of the film?
So my daughters are 8 and 9. And so they've seen the film a bunch, and they're kind of over it, They're like, yeah, Mommy Sam. So what's cool is like we can talk about the themes, because in the film I talk about some pretty severe bullying that I had to deal with. I talk about the untimely death of my brother who was killed in a drunk driving accident. I talk about the death of my father. And the film can get pretty heavy at times. And what's great is that it's giving me a platform to be able to talk to them about some blanks that were not filled in my own life. And so I would say it's been a gift to my relationship with them and to be able to talk to them about the themes. But other than that, I'm just their mom that goes away too much and leaves them behind. And so now, we all just got back from San Francisco. I met somebody from San Francisco earlier today. So we all went to San Francisco together for my Stanford graduation, and we're all going to Las Vegas, which is not really the place we think of to bring children, but I do have a speaking engagement there, and I am bringing them with me and trying to get them more kind of intertwined into my life on the road, because I am deeply, deeply committed to transforming the conversation in this community and making 16 million people feel like they belong to something. And what my hope is, and I'll get me emotional, is that when they're women themselves, they will be inspired. And they'll say, that was my mom, and because she did this, I'm gonna do this. We'll fill in the blank for whatever their life's mission is, but really that's who I wanna be for them. Thank you for that question.
Hello, I'm Jim Anderson, station manager with KGHR, Navajo Public Radio in Tuba City. But I also wear the hat as the underwriting sales manager with an NPR station in KAWC in Yuma, Arizona. And I wanted to address the suggestion about how you might screen this film for your community audiences and your listeners. This might be an excellent opportunity for you. We've been very successful in partnering with local theaters. Better when they're independent, but you can get the franchise station or franchise theaters to work with you as well. You can turn it into a community event in which you invite your listeners to make this a thank you or a gratitude event. It can also be a revenue generator, and there will be sponsorship opportunities. So there's really a great opportunity to do these screenings and make this an event for your station.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. We're absolutely 100% on all of those points. We are interested in talking to you guys about that if you think it would bring value to your listeners. Thank you.
Head to the back of the room.
That's an incredible voice. We're actually on the 7th floor. You can see all of Henry's awards. They're actually pretty impressive along the wall. That's how you'll know that it's our office and we share it. He's embarrassed now. Okay.
Hello, I'm Brenda Castillo-Nogales, and I'm the station manager at KHBG. We're the National Hispanic Media Coalition, and we fight for civil rights for Latinos in the entertainment, film, television, media industry. So, thank you so much for being so authentic and honest. And I saw kind of your speech more as a human experience. And being a Latina, I'm curious because it seems like you always question yourself throughout your life if you can do something. And then when you told me this, you shared with us the Stanford that you got accepted and you waited 3 weeks to voice it out to the world, to share it. Has it stopped? Or do you continue to question yourself?
Yeah, I would love to say I stopped questioning myself and I don't feel insecure anymore. God, that would be so awesome. But no, that just happened in April. That just happened. But here's what's great. It's fine. Here's what's not cool is when people achieve these amazingly awesome things and they're not honest about it. Because what it is to be human is to wonder, am I good enough? Do I belong? Where's my place in the world? We all feel that. That's why this is doing so well. That's why this is so interesting, right? We all feel that way. But so few people say, well, really admit it. And I'm so tired of not knowing the truth. And so I'll let you guys know, guess what? I experienced a sense of imposter syndrome. But guess what? Sister was front and center. I was front and center. I was meeting people, and when I walked in that room of 75 people, 10 people knew me already, and they didn't know me, they knew the project, and they knew the commitment, and they were a beneficiary of the story. And that's what keeps me going. And I heard this expression, the devil is in the next level. And hopefully, I will never stop achieving and trying to go to the next level. So what comes with that? Insecurity. What comes with that? Questioning. But I have the most phenomenal people in my life.
Okay, well, bravo, bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
FYI, audio tech, FYI, audio tech, the podium mic is not on back here. Thank you.
Amazing voice, sir.
Hi, my name is Ben Trefney. I'm the news director at KALW in San Francisco, and thank you so much for this and for being here. My station is a community station and an NPR affiliate and a BBC affiliate, and public radio, especially mainstream stations, have very typically white and older and really formally educated audience. I think that it might be the result of who the paymasters are, for the station where they target programming. But it's an issue. And it's an issue NPR faces, it's an issue we face, a lot of stations face. So I'm wondering, what do you think should be done? What would you like to hear in order to reach broader audiences?
Thanks for asking that question. I really appreciate it. I was actually talking to my Uber driver this morning about that because he was saying, why wouldn't HBO buy this film? Why wouldn't Netflix buy this film? And I said, you know what? Because this is an extremely nuanced story, right? And people don't know what they don't know. I don't think that there are people at these tables where all the faces are white and they're all male and they're all formally educated. I really believe it. I don't believe that they're malicious. I just think that they don't know what they don't know. And here's what there is to know. There's a lot of nuanced stories out there, incredibly nuanced stories. This is just one of like a gazillion of them, right? But every immigrant and every child of every immigrant in this country can identify with this story. So what they need to know is when they think about how are they going to market to Latinos, right? Because that's a big buzzword. How are we going to market to Latinos? Brenda, I'm sure you hear that all the time. This is how you do it. Not at all. Not at all. It's actually offensive, right? Spanish subtitles isn't going to do it. Bringing people like me to the table with stories like this. I have 100 interviews that I've done. I have 100 stories I could tell along with my creative partner that are so provocative and so interesting to a mainstream audience, right? There are frenemies everywhere. We actually had to make a logo for you guys because you're everywhere. There are people that love this community all over the place, married to them, next door neighbors to them, business partners with them. People want to know. I think that what needs to happen is they need to give somebody a chance. In the meantime, we'll still be doing what we're doing, and we'll still be clawing up as far as we can get to the top, trying to make it happen on our own, but it's exhausting. So thank you so much, and maybe we could talk afterwards about how we might work together.
Hi Denise, I'm Steve from Winter Park.
Hi Steve.
Very nice to hear your presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just wondered, you made being Latino seem really cool.
Thanks.
It's too late for me.
Too late.
But you made me want to wear one of those Mexico t-shirts.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I'm wondering what someone like you or you guys would think if you saw me walking down the street in a Mexico t-shirt.
You just opened up a huge can of worms, so I don't know if I could answer that question right now in one comment, but I would invite anyone to come up. And just so you know, for me, I would think that's awesome, just so you know. Because Latinos come in all shapes, colors, sizes, hair textures. We are often misunderstood as far as what we look like physically. And also, I don't personally think there's such a big deal in being excited and wearing a shirt from another country that you happen to love. I really don't, but I know there are a lot of opinions, and I'll invite everybody to come up to you on their own to give you theirs. So, oh, yeah. Thanks. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name's Peggy, and thank you so much. I feel like we're like sisters from another mother.
Oh,
so,
I love that.
You know, you're getting all the love that you deserve here, and in the world as well. You're getting a lot of love and feedback. But how do you deal with the negative parts that come? Because we all know, as producers of color, that it comes. As writers of color, it comes. And the attack on, quote, identity politics. How do you deal with that?
All right. I love that question. Thank you so much, and I love that you feel connected to me. I feel like everyone should have a movie about their lives so they would know this feeling that I have right now, that someone would feel so deeply connected, and I know that you're my people, and I'm your people probably too. So how do I deal with it? Straight up, I don't read anything negative anymore. I remember we put out some videos. We have a lot of online digital content, and our content was very popular on AOL. And we were actually like one of the top 10 most popular content creators for AOL, believe it or not, for general audience, which is pretty interesting, right? And I remember one day I had like over 100 comments on one of our videos, and I got a cup of coffee, and I got myself comfortable, ready to read them all, and like start responding to them. And by the time I read the 6th one or the 7th one, I was like on the floor crying. I couldn't believe the amount of hate out there that isn't personally directed to me or the work that we do. It's just a lot of hate out there, right? And so I'm going to include something that might seem a little controversial. There's also a lot of hate out there, Latino on Latino hate. And I will tell you, I've had more opinions from people in the Latino community criticizing me for what I'm doing. And I believe that that's where it needs to stop, because I know there's just hate. Hate is hate, right? And you can't fight hate with hate. That's what Martin Luther King said. You can't fight it with hate. I will tell you, though, that the Latino community as a whole, we hate on each other way too much. We are so busy preoccupied with criticizing each other about our Spanish, about where we're from, about, you know, a lot of people said, why are you making another thing up? Now I'm really confused. I don't know what I am, you know? And I'm like, listen, this is just for this group of people. Like, don't, you know, this is an empowering thing. It's an inclusive thing. It's not made to, you know, it's not made to make anyone feel bad. And so I really think we need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves in kind of how we hate and judge, regardless of our skin color. For people of color, guess what? We're doing it too. And I need to check myself sometimes with that, all the time. And so that's really what makes me feel bad. The hate from the mainstream world, that doesn't bother me because I shield myself from it. And if it gets in, it gets in. But the hate that's hard to deal with is when I'm criticized by my own brothers and sisters, because I know that that's our demise. Not to bring it down, but that's the honest truth about that. Thank you.
We have time for one more.
Yes.
All right, this question's going to create some work for some of us in this room. My name's Pro Ricks. I'm from WWZ, and I wanted to know, how can public media assist and empower Enye youth or media makers, and what are some national or regional organizations that we can support?
Okay, so how can you empower? We have lots. We have lots of content that you can find online, so you can share our stories on your digital platforms. That's one thing. You can interview other Enyes about what it is to be an Enye. You can interview me about making this film. You can create a screening for the film for your audiences. And what organizations can you support? We are a nonprofit. We need tremendous support. One of the things that you'll learn in the film is that I sold my wedding ring and my husband's wedding ring to still have the ability to do this full time. I also used to drive a Mercedes, and it was repossessed because I wanted to still work on this full time. I've made incredible personal financial sacrifices, and so has my partner. And at this point where we're at right now, right in front of Hispanic Heritage Month, with the new president and the first Hispanic Heritage Month, now more than ever, we need to have these conversations. So I'm not going to be shy and say, please support us. Justmedia.org. And does that answer your question?
I also wanted to know, like, if there were any organizations that you knew of that put their time and their effort into Enye youth, because I know in New Orleans, our youth, we understand, is the next step of our culture, that they're going to inherit what we're giving. So is there any, even if it's like a school that, you know, had a really cool project going on, but how can we make sure that if there are youth in our neighborhoods, that we're getting them on air, we're giving them a chance to interact with public media, since that is the closest type of media to, I guess, where they sit?
Yeah, and so thanks for the question. Here's the thing, a lot of people don't identify as Enyes yet, so we're kind of in that first stage of like, okay, guess what, you're an Enye, and they're like, oh my God, I'm an Enye, this is amazing, now what? So there really aren't like Enyes serving specific organizations other than us, you know, and we're working really hard, and part of what I learned at that Stanford program was how to scale this as a business. My partner, this is my first film, and this is his like 28th film, and he's never had like a film turn into a business in the way that this has, because there's so much demand for products, there's demand for education materials, there's demand, all kinds of demand to help and support this group of people that are really yet to be identified. So first we kind of identify them, and now we're kind of racing to develop the materials that we need, and we're trying to plug into different foundations to help support us develop those materials. So if you want, you can email me and you can say, hey, do you think that these people support Enyes or not? And I can tell you, but as far as I know, there aren't, and there are, I'm sure there are, they might not know it yet. Okay?
So, yes, go ahead, Henry.
I would just add that we are all about partnerships. We absolutely think that's the best way to reach out to find folks that already have an audience that care or that might care about this issue or might identify with it. We had luck with that. Boys and Girls Club is one example. The other way to use it.
Microphone, please.
Okay, so Henry just said we're open to all kinds of partnerships, and we've actually partnered with the Boys and Girls Club And we're open to discussions on any other types of partnerships, because oftentimes groups like that are supporting them, they just don't know it yet. So
I want to say that I love you. You're great.
Thank you.
We have this room, we don't have to flush people out, but just before you all get up and leave, a couple things. The break is a full 30 minutes. There's coffee, there's food and snacks out there. But Denise is here and Henry is here, and they're willing to talk to you and continue conversation. And we hope that you'll take advantage of that. And there is a method to our madness at NFCB. We're starting with this core issue of identity, and this is building. This afternoon is a plenary about managing change in our organizations. Tomorrow morning is a keynote from Jenny Monet, who was at Standing Rock basically covering what was happening there with her cell phone. There's a theme here. After that, tomorrow afternoon, Peggy Berryhill will moderate a very hard-hitting panel on what is inclusivity and where does justice live in our community. We're pushing back on all of you a little bit to take it to another level, because after all, you're in your communities doing this work, as Jackie Gales-Webb pointed out. So I hope that it gets some wheels moving about partnerships, about ways to have these conversations. And I'll just say, we know they're difficult conversations. We know that. And we still have to have them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy.